So they say that your physical characteristics are based on your rising slash ascendant sign. And I've come to find that to be true, but also other placements in your chart, like other planets, other zodiac signs in your chart can change these things. So it's not really like accurate to just look at the rising sign. It's more of a controller, like a placeholder, and then other aspects like change it. Anyway, I feel like your planets have more of a influence on what you look like, because your ascendant is just what you're supposed to look like, you know. Well, that was a terrible description. No, your ascendant is is a description of what you look like, but your other placements affect it more, because the ascendant is only one placement, only one sign, but your other planets are in abundance, and they can all change what your ascendant is supposed to look like, what you are supposed to look like based on your ascendant. I'm sorry I'm skipping around and acting crazy, but I'm going to get to it. So what I've noticed about people with Aries placements, first I'm going to talk about the women. The women, they usually have very striking eyebrows, and it's very beautiful from this point on up. It's very beautiful. Like, they just have something very beautiful about their area of the face, from like the top of the nose up. And usually they say that Aries is supposed to rule the head, right? That's probably why, because yeah, I've always seen Aries women with those beautiful placements. I mean, those beautiful faces. I mean, other parts of them can be beautiful too, but it's always focused on their eyes and their eyebrows and up. The men, their faces are usually like kind of not scary, but like they can have like sharp, like rough eyebrows. They aren't the most attractive people to me, and I'm not going biased based on me being a straight woman, but they're not the most attractive people to me. But when it comes to their body type, they can usually either have like little pudges, or they could be like really buff. It depends, because they have that, what do you call it, the mesomorph or something? I don't know. The body type where you're able to have a lot of muscle. So if they don't have a lot of muscle, they usually have like a little pudge of fat on their stomach, or they're just either or. They either have a pudge, or they're just buff. Okay, I'm gonna talk about Taurus men and their physical characteristics. Taurus men, I've always seen them have like something about their neck is very noticeable. Like they either have like, not Taurus suns, you know what I'm not talking about Taurus suns or Taurus risings specifically, but people with Taurus placement, their neck is usually very noticeable to me. Like it's either thick or just strong, or something about it just grabs your attention. And then they also have like strong, like broad shoulders. Like their body just looks like it's built for work. For some reason, it just looks like it's built for work. I'm not trying to be sexist or anything, but yeah, that's what Taurus men's bodies usually look like to me. And they're also usually attractive, or they have like a beautiful smile. Something about them, they have some beautiful characteristics. It may not be their whole face or the whole body, just something beautiful about them. They usually have some kind of beauty somewhere on them. They're not usually ugly people. And the Taurus women, they are always usually gorgeous in some way to me. They usually have very proportionate bodies, or very attractive. They usually have like that Coke bottle figure. What else? And I feel like if they ever get into makeup, I feel like they would be awesome at it, because I've seen a lot of Taurus placement women have a very great hand with makeup. So you guys should do that. Um, Gemini people. Gemini, this is like so, when I explain these people, this is like so, cliche, because, not cliche, but it's usually heard a lot, but Gemini men and women, and I've said this before on my Twitter and on my YouTube, I believe, Gemini, people with Gemini placements always look young. They always look younger than they actually are. And that, I could basically end it right there with my explanation of their physical characteristics, because it's easy to spot them when they look younger than they actually are. You ask the person how old they are, and they tell you like 37. They look like they're like 21. Might have some Gemini in them. But they also are the women are always very boyish in their body type. Like they usually have like the A cups and the little butts and are very skinny. They usually are the very skinny females. The men usually stay on the slim side too, unless they have like a Taurus or Cancer, something like that, placement in their chart. Who's next? Cancers. Cancer women I've seen. My mother's in Cancer. That's why I'm chubby. Women with Cancer placements usually are chubby in some kind of way, and I have a strong Cancer placement, as you can see, because I've been chubby my whole life. I have a Mars in Cancer, and it just rules over my physical appearance. It adds the weight on to me. But yeah, women with Cancer placements, they usually can put on weight very easily. Like, it just takes on. I'm sorry about that, and I feel your pain because I have the same issue. But they usually have like soft faces. Their faces are usually round. They have big cheeks. The men, they usually have very prominent cheekbones. And they can also be a little bit pudgy too, because Cancer placements are emotional eaters. Like, if they're in a good mood, they feel like eating. If they're bored, they'll eat. If they're having a bad day, they may or may not eat because their stomach might be hurting because whatever, their feelings are hurt, whatever. But yeah, they're emotional eaters. Like, if something makes them feel like they don't want to eat, they won't eat. Something makes them feel like they want to eat, they'll eat. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, the men can be pudgy too. If you have like Cancer placements, that'll make you a little bit chubby. And it's like chubby around it can be around the boobie area, or like the upper half of your body gets chubby. Like everything you expect. And I'm not trying to like insult you, men, but everything you expect to be chubby on a pregnant woman, that's what you should think about when you think about Cancer characteristics. Like, think from the stomach up. Everything gets chubby, like your arms, your face, your neck, your stomach, your boobie area. Yeah, let me stop talking about Cancer. The next is Leo. Leo people with Leo placements tend to have some big hair. They love big hair, or they're usually very attractive people too. Yeah, Leo people are usually very attractive, and they attract a lot of attention because of their looks. I barely see any unattractive Leo placement people. Props to y'all. That goes for the men and women. They're both attractive. They're usually attractive. I'm not going to say that everybody in every sign is always attractive, but more than likely, if you have some Leo placements in your chart, you are attractive to a lot of people, because people do have different opinions, but to a lot of people, you are attractive. So don't feel bad about yourself. Don't feel down about yourself if you have Leo placements. Any distinctive characteristics, like I said, the hair, and And really, it's just about the hair. They really like their hair. They really care about their hair. That's a lot of focus goes into their hair. Okay. The next is Virgo. When it comes to Virgo people, I've always seen that Virgo women, they usually have like their chin is like usually pointy. I don't know why. Their chin is always comes to a point. I don't know why, but yeah, my chin used to come. I think it comes to a point a little bit. My son is in Virgo, so yeah. Their chins come to a point. They usually are pretty. But they usually have like plain features. Like nothing really stands out about their face unless they add something extra to it. Like if they add makeup, they'll be extremely gorgeous. Or if they wear jewelry, they'll be extremely gorgeous. They're just like the face that you could add things to and it'll make it beautiful. Like they don't have any distinctive features. Like it's just like their personality. They're just efficient. They have efficient features, and they're usually their body is usually like proportioned. They can be they never like get too big. They kind of stay. If they have like those chubbier placements, the placements that make you chubby, they never get like humongous. They always stay at a proportionate size. Never get too huge. They always stay on the slimmer side, even if they're not slim. That's for them. And the men are usually very tall. Like I know, not all of them, but they usually are. But I know a couple of Virgo men, and they usually tend to be very tall. I don't know what that's about, but then only the men, Virgo men placements usually are always tall. Not always, but you know, most times they're tall, unless they have like some other things conflicting. I'm sorry. Next is Libra. Libra people are always very attractive in the face. They have like how can I describe this? They have like I'm not even gonna say that they're always attractive in the face. They just add things to themselves that make them attractive. They can be attractive people. They have those faces that they have plain faces like Virgos, but they usually have like some kind of distinctive feature about them that brings a lot of people towards them for whatever reason. I know a lot of Libra placements also have dimples somewhere on their body. That's usually something that goes with the Libra placement. I don't know. And then the men usually have like long eyelashes and pretty features about them. They can be very cute. I don't know why only Libra placements get that. Maybe because they're supposed to be charming or something. I don't know. But I do know, but it's like, I guess it's fine. For the women and the men, it's the same. They have those plain faces, but they usually add like makeup to it or like wear cute outfits. Their body types are usually dependent on other things, because I've seen Libra people with a numerous amount of body types. If they're usually like smaller in size, though they're usually smaller. For Scorpio placements, I've seen a lot of Scorpio people with I'm not even going to say that. I was going to say that I usually see a lot of Scorpio people with gaps, but that's probably because they have Capricorn placements, because Capricorn rules the bones, and they usually have things going on with their bones, but I'm not going to get to that yet because it's not their turn. I've seen a lot of Scorpio placements with gaps in their teeth. But besides that, Scorpio people are always, they have like a darker tone to their skin. So if you're a fairer skinned person, you probably would go and get a tan. You like tanning. If you're a darker skinned person, you're usually the darkest tone or close to the darkest tone. You don't have to be this, but that's usually what I see. You also have very distinctive eyes. Like your stare down can be something to remember. And you don't even have to have like scary eyes or deep eyes or dark eyes or beautiful eyes. Your eyes, you can just shape them in forms and things to make you like grab people's attention. You have that stare. You sometimes look kind of mean too. I don't know why. But stop looking so mean. The men, they usually Scorpio men are usually always on the shortest side. I don't know what it is about Scorpio placements, why Scorpio men are always so short. I'm sorry, you guys, but that's always usually the case. Unless you have like some Virgo in you or some Capricorn or something like that. I'm sorry, but you're usually always short. Oh yeah, and then again with the skin tone, then like you know how Scorpio is either or in mentality, or it's a better explanation of that is it's either extreme, right? So if you have skin tone, you're either if you have a lighter skin tone, you're either like completely white or you're deeply tanned. Or if you're darker, or if you're a person with melanated skin, you're either completely light skinned or you're completely dark skinned. Unless you have other placements in like Libra or something like that. The next is Sagittarius. Sagittarius, I'm going to get to the women first because I've always seen this in them. Women with Sagittarius placements are always bigger in the shoulder area, and then their legs are very skinny. Like what do you call a upside down triangle? I'm not in that math class yet in my school, so they usually go down like, you know how, you know what I mean, like this. Their body is usually like this. These are the legs, and then they go up like that. Not that dramatic, but you know what I mean. The Sagittarius women, I've always seen them like that. They can either have like really big boobs and very skinny legs. Like their legs are usually always very skinny, and the men can have some skinny chicken legs too. And if you have some Sagittarius placements, your legs can be skinny too, or they could yeah, that's what it is. You just have some chicken legs. Unless you have like placements in Taurus or Cancer or Pisces, that makes you a little bit more fleshy or strong looking or pudgy. The next people I'm going to talk about is who's next? I just Sagittarius. Capricorn. Capricorn. Like I was saying earlier, let me just go ahead and get to this teeth thing that I was talking about. Like Capricorn people can have a lot of issues with their bones. Like they can have like knee problems or something like that. But this is not like health astrology. I'm giving you the physical appearances. Capricorn usually have, I've always seen like Capricorn people with like lower jaw problems, or they had to get something fixed in their teeth were messed up in some way. And I'm not talking about you because I'm wearing braces. My teeth aren't perfect. I'm still in the process of getting them done. But they always have something going on with their teeth. Like they either have a messed up bottom row of teeth, or their jaw, or they have like a protruding bottom jaw or something like that. But their faces are always very, very attractive, and they always have some very luscious lips. I'm gonna say that about Taurus too. Taurus people always have great lips. They're always plump, and it's the same thing with Capricorn. They also usually are either very short or very tall. they have that extreme too. That could be like a Scorpio thing too, because you know Capricorn can have like Scorpio placements. And the next one I talk about is Aquarius. The thing I find weird about Aquarius placements is that they tend to, what's the word I'm going to use? They tend to have, like, their face is so symmetrical, like it looks weird, like everything is going in, like, you know how sometimes everybody's born, they have like a little bit of crookedness to their face. Aquarius placements usually have like weirdly symmetrical faces, like everything is fitting where it's supposed to be, and it looks kind of weird to me. But you know, I have some Aquarius placements in my chart, so I'm not talking about you guys. Again, I have a lot of stuff in my chart, so don't take anything I'm saying to offense. But you guys are very, very, your faces are very, very symmetrical, and that adds to the charm that you have, because people always find your face appealing. It might not be the most attractive face, but it's always symmetrical. It's always leveled, so that's something. Their body is usually the same way. Aquarius people tend to have very symmetrical everything. Their body is usually symmetrical. Like you can have like a straight up and down body. The guys can have proportion bodies too, either whether they're chubby, skinny, whatever. The women are the same way. Nothing is, the boobs aren't too big, the butt isn't too big, the stomach isn't too big, the arms aren't too big. It's always equal. It's always proportionate. And Aquarius placement people are always usually very short. They're usually short people. I'm sorry to say that, but you're usually short. Unless you have other placements in like Virgo or something like, or Capricorn or something like that. Something to make you tall. And the next one is, what is it? Not the Aquarius, right? Pisces. I'm just playing. I didn't think about y'all. But, Pisces people, let me tell you something about Pisces people. And I've seen this mostly with women that have their Sun or Mars in Pisces. They tend to be very, I'm going to use a Beyonce reference and say bootylicious. I know I'm being like a kind of goofy, kind of cheesy right now, but they usually have a lot of butt. They're usually very bottom heavy. They're very fleshy at the bottom. And I've seen this a lot after what am I trying to say? The Pisces women I've seen, they usually have like if they're not born into the body type of being fleshier at the bottom than at the top, then usually in women I've seen that after they've had children, their butt usually just expands out of nowhere. Like, where did you get all those butt and those hips from, girl? Like, wait, give me some. You just had a baby and it just popped out like that? How do you do that? But usually before they had kids, their body type is based on other things in their chart, and then when they get older in age, or when after they have kids, their booty and those hips just pop out of nowhere. They're also very attractive. The Pisces placement men are also very attractive too. They also are kind of fleshy. Like they have they look like they can have like a little meat on their bones. They can have like a pudge or some thick legs or stuff like that. They aren't usually on the skinny side. Pisces men are. They can easily put on weight too. So that's it for the descriptions of the physical descriptions of the signs. If you, like I said before, if you have any questions or any specific thing you want me to go into detail about, then just go ahead and comment or something like that. Bye bye.